Welcome back, everybody, to the Houston Texans Madden 21 franchise, a series where for over 10 years we've tried to win a Super Bowl title, but we have not been able to even get to the Super Bowl. We have a pretty good team, a really good team, although we just got bounced out of the postseason in the wild card round in a heartbreaking loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. We are now set to have one of the most challenging off seasons we've ever had in the series, with so much of our core getting older and having expiring contracts. There was a time when this core was very young, and there are still some young players in it, but when you take a look at the top overall players, a lot of them now are in those key regression years, and some of them are likely not coming back for next year. We've actually made it to the postseason now in consecutive seasons, but took a step back this year after our AFC Championship game run. We still have Shadon Roseman, but the days of having his cheap contract help us out with the team building are now over. And this is just a fifth-year option, so if we sign him to a large contract, expect that to go up even more, and making it fit is going to be even more difficult, and you'll have to end up losing more players. So today we could start to see a bit more change than we've become accustomed to. You have 30-year-old running back here, Robert Penn, coming off kind of a resurgence this year. It was his first 1,000-yard season in his NFL career, and he did it primarily because of the volume. He didn't get big plays. His longest run was 17 yards. He didn't even have 200 yards after contact. He broke a ton of tackles, but this was really because of the volume. At receiver, Amari Jones, his contract is now up, and he has 566 career receptions. Of course, all of those have come with the Houston Texans. We drafted him a long time ago. I think we'd all hate to see him go to a new team. Defensively, we've built this team around a dominant front four, but Jabari Carr and Justin Johnson are now free agents, and I don't think we can retain both of them. In the secondary, Marquise Brown. We added him to the team a long time ago. It feels like he's always been here, but he was in San Francisco for 4 years and has been really good with us. And now his contract's up. Kurt Reiner's contract is up. He was one of our first big free agent additions, and he's been a really solid linebacker. So without a doubt, the team's about to experience some change. But how can we go through that change while still keeping this team ready to make another run? And keep in mind, we are running low on time here with Madden 22 around a month out. And once that is out, I do plan to switch to Madden 22 content. So I want to get this series wrapped up in the next month, and for us to do this, I think I have to go through seasons pretty quickly. Definitely doing a lot of early season simming, see if there's anything good happening in that season, or if we need to go and move on to the next one. So I don't think I'll be doing preseason streams or anything like that. I want to move quickly, and we'll slow down and take our time, usually when we're making like playoff runs and stuff like that. We currently have $117 million in cap space, which is not going to be enough to keep all the free agents. If we want to try to save more money, here's what we can do. Now, anybody here with a 0 for remaining is actually a free agent, so there aren't a lot of ways for us to actually save money. We could cut Shadon Roseman if you want. Who do we try to re-sign now? Knowing that not everybody can come back. Thankfully this year we do have a first-round pick to work on finding a replacement somewhere. We're going to get backup tackle Nick Northrup under contract, just $750,000. I think I'll let the rest of these deals expire, and then we'll try to re-sign Ryan Ford because he really had a good season. We'll just do so in open free agency. I don't expect it to be too competitive. We're already looking at having to sign at least one offensive lineman. and I don't want to have to find 2 to 3 new starters. Leslie Good for like 8 to 9 million, I think would be solid. So we'll boost this offer, hope this gets accepted. It does. Now, we've talked a little bit about, do we try to make a move with Mekhi Becton? Right now, if we release him, there's absolutely no benefit. The dead cap situation is a little more tricky when it comes to trading, but I still think we'd be left with some dead money there. This might not be really doable until next season, if at all. I'd also like to make sure we can keep Randy Wallace. Want to make sure we have a pretty strong interior offensive line. So we'll offer him a 3-year deal, and he takes it. I would like to bring back Jabari Carr for another season and make sure we have a great starting front four. We just may not have the depth as always. Or does Carr want to move on? I think this is a reasonable deal for Amari Jones, and there wouldn't be a ton of guaranteed money, so you could always cut him later on if you want. But he's going to test. Marquise Brown is also going to be testing. We will bring back David Perkins as safety depth, but we're going to let Tevin Tyson go. Let's see, Dante Fry, probably going to let him go. Daryl Lehman's going to stay in Houston. He's good depth. We'll let Austin Kitchen, Jaden O'Neal go. Maybe bring back Gillislee. But I think any more offers are going to be later on once we see who else is out there. We're not going to be offering a contract to Kurt Reiner. We've built up our linebacker depth. I think the last thing I want to do here is probably franchise tag Justin Johnson and trade him to a new team. That's a $19 million franchise tag, and we will give it to him. Free agency is set to begin. We have $66 million in cap space right now. And here are the top available players. Whoa, Quentin Nelson, Myles Garrett, Ed Oliver. A lot of really good veterans, and I think we're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of players here. Here's where we're at without making any moves. So we do have Stephen Brown, who could become a starter this year. Gordon Ramsay could move out to guard. I think we have enough linemen to start the season. It's just, is this good enough? If we're going to find an upgrade, it needs to be somebody really good. I'm going to try to bring back Amari Jones for sure. I really want him back on the team. Defensively, obviously we're probably going to end up trading Justin Johnson, but that's not even a guarantee because the tag was less than $20 million a season. He could easily play on that. And we haven't brought back Jabari Carr. We're going to attempt to. At linebacker, though, we have Montrell Russell. He dropped the star dev because he didn't play enough and didn't do enough when he did play. But him and Zach Jones can start. We should add another linebacker, but remember that Dre Tatum plays a lot of those third down snaps, so he'll stay in that same role. For the other safety spot, I mean, there is Adrian Payton if we want to play him for the coverage, but we also have Rashawn Tyson, who's just a little more well-rounded. And then at corner, we're probably spending our first round pick on somebody there, I'd have to imagine. So we'll start things here with Jabari Carr. I want to put out a strong offer. Nobody else has shown interest yet. There's an offer for Amari Jones as we go up to $48.8 million. I'm going to give an offer to Quentin Nelson like 26 teams already have. I have to. He's the best guard in the game. I do want to give an offer here to Jermaine Wilbon. He would give us some more depth at linebacker, and he's a starting caliber player. And this wouldn't even be a huge deal. Like, I think this is extremely low. I'm going to offer a contract to running back Frank Banyard. Banyard has a lot of speed, and he can make defenders miss, along with having 81 break tackle. He's an okay receiver, but I want that big play upside in the backfield, and moving receivers to running back just hasn't worked out well enough yet. I'm going to make this a 1-year offer worth around $5 million. I also want Marquise Brown to return, but there are some other interested teams. We can give a strong offer, and now we don't have much left in cap space after making all these offers. So if they all were accepted, then we'd probably look to end up moving on from Justin Johnson. Most likely, not a guarantee. But here are the offers that we've made. I want a lot of those big name players to return, and we'll see who does here. Simming past stage 1. Big moment here in the series. And Banyard joins. We have a new running back. Quentin Nelson is coming to Houston. Marquise Brown is not. Amari Jones is back. Jabari Carr is back. Wilbon accepts, so does Ford. That's not bad. Only one rejection there from Marquise Brown. Here were some of the other big signings. Myles Garrett is going to San Francisco. Ed Oliver to Tennessee. John McMillan to Arizona. Kurt Reiner is going to the Chicago Bears. Marquise Brown took less to go to the Dallas Cowboys. So from Houston to Dallas. Baker Mayfield's going to Indianapolis with Ronnie Stanley. So the offense here would not be changing very much. We would be looking at having a new right guard, Quentin Nelson. Rashad Walker stays at left guard. We don't have to do anything with the offensive line now if we don't want to. We don't even have to think about playmaker either. Defensively, we still have the option of trading Justin Johnson, who isn't showing up here on the depth chart for some reason. But now, corner and safety become the main concerns. We've gone through the corner class already, and there are some good first round options. Some potential value later on as well. But we'd like to get a first round talent. There are a few early round safeties as well. It's just not as strong in this draft class. But they shouldn't go all that early. And we have our original 7 picks. If no one's interested, I am going to give an offer here to Jair Alexander. Oh, that's what's happening here. He has no offers because he has a torn Achilles and is going to miss 39 weeks. So how long does it take to get to the regular season? A long time. That's basically a 9-10 month recovery there, so I don't think Alexander's even playing this season. I'm going to offer Dante Fry a 1-year contract to return, but we're certainly looking for another corner at some point in this offseason. On to the next stage now. Just a couple offers there, and Fry accepts the deal. Now we have to talk about Rashad Walker's 5th-year option, and I'm probably not going to pick it up. Wow, a team is interested now in Jair Alexander. The Arizona Cardinals are offering him a deal, even though he might not be able to play until the Super Bowl. Would he even be able to play in the Super Bowl? I don't know. Overall, there's been less change than I expected there to be. We got some deals done. Obviously, Tyson's gone, Reiner's gone, Marquise Brown is gone. So the offense is staying together, the defensive line is staying together. We're trying to figure out everything else as we go. I'm pretty happy with the offseason to this point. I feel like we can go into this draft and try to make a move for a cornerback and see what else we're able to accomplish. Finding some defensive line depth would be nice. And I haven't totally decided yet what's going to happen at safety, but We have a couple players that we could play if we can't find a top prospect. Tevin Tyson, by the way, ended up getting 40 over 4. The Saints gave him a big offer. I want to say the fair offer was like $36 million over 4 years, so he got a nice boost there going to free agency. And Jair Alexander did end up signing with the Arizona Cardinals. And the Cardinals pick first. So maybe their plan is to hopefully re-sign him to a deal or something. I don't know. But we are definitely wanting to get a corner. Justin Sullivan is the top on the board here. And he's 6'3", ran 4.42, good man coverage, good press and play rec. There's Traylon Alexander, mid-1, zone coverage with good size and 4.4 speed. And Tim Giles, 4.4 speed, awareness, zone, 5'11". So, really similar corners. I'd probably have to have Sullivan number 1 just because he's early first, but Alexander is the better fit. If we miss out there, Percy Davis, late 1 talent. You can still get size and speed, but don't know the zone coverage with him. And then for second round talents, there are a couple options we know about. Nolan Pratt, Brian Kennedy. If it gets to this point, Pratt is late 2, Kennedy is late 2, so we'd like to take care of this by getting a first round player. I think Traylon Alexander becomes the target. So basically, there's no reason I think to trade up until Sullivan goes, and we'll just wait to see when that happens. Lorenzo Sherman is the number 1 pick going to the Arizona Cardinals, and Justin Sullivan ends up going at 2. All right then. Alexander is the 10th ranked player on the board. I think we'd have to probably get to like the Patriots pick or something. Antoine Smith goes to San Francisco. Delvin Harris to New Orleans. Marlon Stevens. Okay, he was on the board higher than Alexander. So can we get to 6? The players ahead of him too. I don't know about Batten here, but Forbes and Fisher are late 1 talent. Bulls, Adkisson, Walton, they're not actually first round players. So I think you have to think about getting up now. And the Patriots absolutely need a cornerback. All right, we can get this done, but it's going to take that second round pick and then something late as well. More than a 7. The 2 and 5 don't quite get there. What if I make it the 3 and the 4? I don't think it works. Nope. It'll have to be the 2 and the 4. That's okay, they're falling so far. But we're going to have a smaller draft class today, but we're going to get the player I want here at number 6. Please, let's have some hidden development here for Traylon Alexander from Minnesota. Normal. And a slight overdraft, but I think I had to in order to get him. 91 speed, 76 zone coverage. I wanted zone coverage, and he should be a solid cover corner. Needs some development though. It's probably a little early for him to end up going, and it's a lot to give up. Percy Davis was an option. Don't know his zone coverage. He will probably end up being a much better value. We'll have to see if he's also just a better player right away. But now we don't pick till the 3rd round. Hey, a quarterback went early. That's weird. Tim Giles ends up going to Indianapolis at 13. Marshall Culliver is off the board, so he's still out there. A lot of corners going here in round 1. Monty McKenzie. So we would have been able to stay at our pick and get the other cornerback. Percy Davis ends up going here in the 2nd round. Not where we picked in the second round, a couple picks earlier, but that seems to be one of the best values of the entire draft. He's like the 8th corner off the board, too. All right, 3, 5, 6, 7. Hopefully we can still come away with a pretty good player. We have a first-round running back here, but running back isn't really something I'm targeting now. Have at least a few second-round talents. This is an okay time, I think, to address some defensive line depth. There are still so many draftable corners, too. I think I like to go with George Vernon here. He's 260 pounds, a speed rusher out of Buffalo, mid-second round talent, had a pretty good 3-cone. We got to get some D-line depth, and he has normal development. Vernon has 72 finesse moves to go with 84 speed, 88 acceleration. That's solid right there. Not bad depth. And now in the 5th round, we only have a few players actually on the draft board now. A couple more corners. We could use more depth, but I think we'll go BPA here and select defensive tackle Julian Collins. Although he's a run stopper with just 30 bench reps. So you'd hope for some pass rush upside. 67 overall. Run stopper archetype. 85 is okay, but 70 power move gives you a place to start building that pass rush skill set a bit more. We're going to pass on drafting James Callaway here in the 6th. I don't think 4.6 speed is going to be very playable here in this game. I don't know if there's a chance of him going before our 7th round pick, but I want to get Rodney Rivers, so let's just take him here. He's 6'5", 227, runs 4.5. A fun developmental receiver out of Syracuse. And he has 90 speed, 81 catch in traffic. I really think that with this skill set, you could develop him a little bit, but release is going to hold him back a little. And in the 7th round, we are going to take a really good athlete at tackle, Keenan Kinder. And he is a 63 overall, but not far off of the true talent at 212. 89 strength is good enough, but probably needs some time on the practice squad. Good athlete, though. I think I expected a few more surprises to happen here in the preseason or the offseason, but this is what we have. Traylon Alexander, is this a good enough first pick? He's definitely going to be playing right away, so maybe he can earn star development. I'm obviously there in the early rounds, really trying to find hidden development players, and the better the talent, the better a chance I think you have. But perhaps I could have done better. Obviously, Justin Sullivan went before him, but he also had normal development. Better man coverage than zone, but definitely a good prospect. Marlon Stevens was the 2nd corner, again normal development. We took Alexander as the 3rd corner. And then Tim Giles went. Normal development again with a zone coverage skill set, but not bad. And then the Patriots still got a corner at our pick with hidden development, Marshall Culliver. Wow. So they get a lower overall player, but of course the development is so big. Darius Lucas has normal dev. Monty McKenzie has normal dev. Daniel Pryor, top of the 2nd, had normal development. And then Percy Davis, 73 overall, normal development. But we wouldn't have had to give up 3 picks to get him. He also wasn't the same archetype as Alexander, so it was both scheme fit and just talent grade. So, I mean, if this happens again, I'd probably make the same decision. Just try to get a higher rated player that's a better fit. Just ended up giving up so much to not get hidden dev, you know? Overall, here were the top players in this draft class. A lot of front 7 players, mostly defensive players. There was a good quarterback, though. Gregory Batten, hidden dev. He was selected by the Denver Broncos. Don't often see the quarterbacks actually go early. Mark Proctor, 75 overall safety, ended up going in the 3rd round. How about Danny Smith here? He went at 16, 76 overall safety. Just a pretty good secondary draft class. Darius Sandridge, normal development. Where are all the hidden dev players? All right, so we're on to the preseason, and I feel like the offense, is really similar to last year. We add Quentin Nelson, so you hope for better offensive line play. We're going to have him play left guard here with Mekhi Becton and try to really have a strong side of this offensive line. Defensively, though, this secondary is a huge question mark. Outside of Dre Tatum, can Lynn Cox be a number 1? Is Traylon Alexander ready to play as a rookie? Rashawn Tyson at strong safety. Is this good enough? Now, we added Jermaine Wilbon. He's going to be taking over for Kurt Reiner. Montrell Russell goes to outside linebacker, Zach Jones as well. And then Jermaine Wilbon is actually a bit better for coverage than Jones. Better coverage ratings, better speed overall. So we'll see how he plays. But we're going to get through preseason as well today. The first preseason game is a 17-14 loss. Roseman throws 1 touchdown. Dishman throws 1 plus an interception. On the ground, Penn 27 yards. Banyard only got a couple carries. Was hoping to see a few more. George Ingram, huge preseason game. All right then. David Perkins had 12 tackles. A lot of sacks here. Wilbon gets 1. And the pick goes to Levi Fowler. Quentin Nelson's going to be mentoring Gordon Ramsay. Okay. Ramsay has a chance, I think, to start next season or so. We'll work on some of those power skills. We're still waiting on some more of these young players to develop. Adrian Payton, I think, has starting potential. Not sure if it'll happen this year. We do have Rashawn Tyson right now as the starting strong safety. Hopefully we can put up a bunch of points this year, and we might have to put up even more with the losses in the secondary. So Paul Sears gets a boost. A win against the New Orleans Saints in Game 2. Roseman 2 touchdowns. Dishman throws 1 as well. Not too bad, although Dishman 43% complete. Robert Penn 32 yards. Banyard more efficient. Same with Daniel Blue. George Ingram saves something for the regular season. Fowler scores a touchdown. So does Amari. And defensively, Fry picks up 10 tackles. More sacks. Great start for the pass rush. Rashawn Tyson gets an upgrade, 74 overall. Big season for him to prove himself in year 3 that he can be an NFL starter. Quentin Nelson is very impressed with Gordon Ramsay, so he's also getting the awareness boost. But now you have Amari Jones, who wants to mentor Paul Sears. And I think we should probably just go with route running, getting open. Maybe some of those medium routes. 2 release, 2 medium route running. We put some points on the board in Game 3, 38-24. Texans with 3 total passing touchdowns. Not many incompletions. Robert Penn, 46 yards and a touchdown. Banyard, 35 yards. Blue, 18 plus a score. Ingram, unbelievable preseason. Sears found the end zone. We'll see if that impresses Amari Jones. And like 5 more sacks in this game as well, plus a pick for Traylon Alexander. I have Peyton as a focus player, so he's still getting upgrades really quickly. 69 overall. We're working on fixing that run defending, partially because Tatum is playing free safety, and I want someone that can play strong, unless Tatum goes the strong. But either way, I want Peyton to get that short up. We beat the Bears 24-17. And we get 1 touchdown, 1 pick in this game, and a highly efficient day for Elliott Dishman, now the primary backup. Frank Banyard, 51 yards and a touchdown. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this year. I'm hoping that there are some big plays. Dante Hairston, 5 catches. Danny Arrington with 4. Antonio Werner with 5. Nice job here by the backups. Jermaine Wilbon picks up a sack. That is a lot for just the preseason. Just want to check on an injury here. And it's to Montrell Russell, a wrist injury. So he is set to miss the first 7 weeks of the season. Overall, in the preseason, we passed the ball really well. We did take 13 sacks, but only 3 of those were to Rosemond with the starting offense. 9 total touchdown passes. Overall, Frank Banyard was our most efficient running back. And he did not have a long carry, but higher efficiency than Robert Penn. Receiving, George Ingram, 338 and 5. He's not in first? Are you kidding me? Penn caught the ball pretty well, too. Fowler, a $114. Arrington and Hairston get over 100 yards. 4 sacks allowed. Stephen Brown, Nick Northrup. Not too many, though, for the starting linemen. And defensively, plenty of sacks in these 4 games. 3.5 to Daryl Lehman, that leads the team. And the 2 interceptions. We do need a replacement now for Montrell Russell, and there's a really good option here in free agency. We're going to bring in Paul McDaniels, a 10-year veteran. We could also try to bring in a better starting safety. Terrell Burgess is 83 overall, 13th ranked strong safety. So maybe Rashawn Tyson isn't starting after all. And that will take us into the 2031 season for next episode. We open 2 out of 3 games against the Tennessee Titans. We have an early week 4 bye week. And we finish the year against the Miami Dolphins. We finish with 3 consecutive road games, take on the Jaguars in week 15 and in week 12. So it's the 2 Titans games, then the 2 Colts matchups, then the 2 Jaguars matchups. What a weird, bad schedule. So what I'm planning on doing next episode is basically simulating. If it is a terrible year, probably sim the entire thing. If it's not a terrible year, then sim most of it. And then maybe we watch a few of the important games. We'll see. But more like what I've done in the past with other series. We've definitely watched more games, I think, in this series than I typically do. But I've also wanted to watch all those games. And now I think that a faster pace makes the most sense. Especially because the team hasn't changed dramatically. We don't need to watch 6 games to know more about Rosemond, George Ingram, and all these other players. So here is your team going into the new year. We're taking a step back in some areas. Are we going to be able to replace those players adequately and have a dominant enough offense to offset what we did lose on the defensive side of the football? Jumping in here in the editing, thinking about this team and this episode, what I think we should do now is trade Justin Johnson. I think that we're going to need that dominant number 1 corner. I don't think Traylon Alexander is going to be necessarily a bad starter, but we should probably just try to get a number 1 corner. Trust the depth we have. Daryl Lehman just led the team in sacks in preseason. We like Michael Arnett. We don't have to run 5 deep in this front 4. Let's go add a corner and then get this season going. Let me know what you think, everybody, down below, and I'll have the next episode coming your way soon. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and have a great day.